started. So, my name is Lee, and I'm the director of the Literacy Network. So today, my friend Jilly will be presenting a workshop about writing your college essay. I wanted to let you know, too, at LitNet, we provide tutors, free tutors to also help you. So if today you find you would like someone to work with you on this essay, we can provide that as well. So, ladies, are you staying? You staying with us?
Oh, just stay for a little bit.
Give it a try. It'll be fun.
Yeah, either here or here. You could sit there.
All right, so as I said, this is my friend Jilly, and I had her come here today because she's talented and fun and knows what she's talking about. So that's why she's here.
Thanks, Lee. Hi. It's just the five of you. My name is Jilly, and I am an English teacher, and I also work as a tutor and consultant for students that are applying to college. So I teach writing, and I spend a lot of time working with young people, helping them get better at the writing process, and also feeling more comfortable about the college application process. So we're going to kind of be starting very general, and then kind of diving deep into the Common App essay and some strategies for making that go a little easier for you when it's time to do it. But I thought it'd be nice, since we're such a small group, could you just tell me your names and where you go to school? Yeah?
I'm Jose, I go to Greylock.
Cool.
You go to Greylock?
You go to Greylock as well. I work in Williamstown as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
College?
No, I work at Pine Cobble, next to Williams College. Yeah. But I bet some of my students, old students, you know. Yeah. You go to Lennox? Okay. Hi. You go here to Lee? Okay. And you are not a college student. Okay. Wonderful. So I would just want to start off by kind of getting a sense of where you all are in the college process. So I'm going to give you a Post-it note. Do you have something to write with? You know, I'm an English teacher, so I'm going to make you write. Okay, take that.
One more, Jilly.
Here we are. Oh, and one more. Oh, okay, hi. Okay, you get to sit there. Great. So what I'd like you to do is write one word on this Post-it note about how you're feeling right now about this whole process. You've sat through hours now. Probably you're feeling a little numb, but write down one thing that you feel right now about applying to college. You're going to write it right on this Post-it note. I don't care about your spelling. It's not real school. Great. Okay, and when you're done, you can give it to me. I'm pretty sure I've felt all these things since I applied. Okay, great. Here's what we got. Stressful, definitely. Overwhelmed, it's going to get worse, but don't worry. We have people to help you. Interesting, someone might be lying. Who said that? Who wrote that it's interesting? I'm so thrilled to hear that. Confusing, excited, that's great. These are all feelings that probably all of you are experiencing and we will continue to experience until the whole thing's over. Unfortunately, it is a long process, but hopefully lessons like the one I'm going to do today are going to make you feel better, and also you know that part of this is like learning how to access the resources around you and people that can help you make it easier and less overwhelming, less stressful, and less confusing, and more excited and more interesting. Okay. Oh, the laughing is so loud. Okay. All right. Number 2, which is, what's a question that you would like me to answer? One. And if you have more than one, you can write more than one. But write at least one thing that you want to get out of the next hour or so with me. If I do my job well, I can throw all those Post-its away at the end. So you're going to write, what's right here? One question that you have for today, or what is one thing you hope to learn today from me? One question or one thing you hope to learn today? And if you don't have a question, it's okay, because you're not getting graded. I'm not your real teacher. It's okay. You don't have one. Are you a senior?
Yeah.
Are you a senior?
No, it's not so.
You're a sophomore. And what year are you? I forgot your name. You're a senior and you are a senior and you are a sophomore. Okay. You're all either in the process or getting close to it. Okay, cool. Let's see what we got. It's okay. You can just put a little heart on it and give it to me. Like, Jilly, I love you. It's okay. But I'll take yours. Oh, you didn't write anything either. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. So, how to organize your essay. We're going to talk about this. How is college? It's really fun and really hard. It's been a long time. I'm 54, so I haven't been in college for a very, very long time. I have 2 adult children, one who's out of college, but I have a son who's a junior in college. So, yes, I can tell you college is great. College is hard. Is it easy to make friends in college? Yes. Is it hard to get a PhD? Yes. It is so hard, but I'm really glad I did it. You won't regret it. You won't regret going to college. You'll never look back on it, on any education that you get, and say, it wasn't worth it. That's not to say it's not going to be, ups and downs, but totally worth it. Okay. I can answer all of those questions. The how is college one, I'm like old. I'm probably older than your parents. So this one, I'd have to ask my son who's still in college on how is college. But I think college is pretty great. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here with you today. Okay. Here we are. Congratulations! Just being here, you've already taken the first step because you care enough about learning more about the process that you're here today. So, here we go. All right. Probably your teachers or guidance counselors at school have talked to you a little bit about the whole process. I am mostly going to talk about writing, but I do want to just go over the different things that are going to be part of your college application. There is something called the Common App. Have you all heard of that? Give a thumbs up if you've dealt with the Common App. Okay. Including the essay, that's what we're going to talk about. Any test scores that you may take, SAT or an ACT, but lots and lots of schools don't make you take that. Have you talked about that at school already? Yeah. Like my one son, who's an adult, he took the SATs when he went to college, but my son, who's in college now, didn't take them because it was the pandemic, and he was going to take them, and then he kind of was like, so he didn't take them, and he's doing great. So some schools will require those, and some will not. Then there's something called supplemental essays. Some schools that you may apply to are going to require extra writing, okay? And they may require 1 or 2 or 3 little extra things. So you will want to find out when you choose your schools which ones require the extra stuff. And last, some schools will offer you an interview. That might be over Zoom, that might be in person, you don't have to do it, but again, it's something that you want to make sure that you set aside time for in the process. There we go. Okay, so what is this essay, this personal essay that we're going to talk about today? Some schools call it a personal statement. Personal essay, or the personal statement, is really part of the application where you get to be you. You are more than just a test score. You are more than just the B you got in geometry class. You are more than just a soccer player. It's part of the application that is personal, and it's a way for all of the admission staff to get more insight into who you are, and also for you to show how you have grown, developed, or something new that you've learned. So it's not going to repeat what is already in your application. It's what we call supplemental. It's like next door or adjacent. It's extra. And actually, for some people, it can be the most fun part of your application because you get to show your personality. When are you going to start writing? Well, if the world was perfect, you would have already started it, right? You could start it last year. You could start it when you're a sophomore. You could start it next week if you want. But most likely, you haven't really gotten that far on it, which is normal because life gets busy. Do you play sports? Do you work? Do you have jobs? We have family, right? It's very hard to think about these things until it's time to do it. But you're all here today, which means you're all ready to start that process, and you want to start that process. So today's your day. In the fall would be when you would want to brainstorm your ideas and begin to write a rough draft. In November, you would want to write your rough drafts and also find someone, a teacher or a tutor or a friend or an adult or a coworker to help you read your essay and make it the best version of you that you can make it. And then in December, of course, you're going to submit your application. It's not too late. Okay. Does everybody have, everyone has a pen? Not really. Everyone has a pen?
We have pens.
You have pens? And does anyone need a notebook? I'm giving you all special notebooks. These are more special than that. I'm giving everybody, these are going to be your special, extra special notebooks. Okay. And I have, okay. Let me get colored pens. What color do you like? Pick one. You get to keep it.
Oh.
Yeah. Take two. Those are for us. Yeah. Okay. Take a couple that you like. Great. Because if you have something that is just for your brainstorming process, just for your pre-writing process, you're more likely to do it. Okay. So, how do we get started on the writing? Well, we've already done step number 1. We are going to get ourselves a notebook, or if you're not someone who wants to handwrite things, you would set up a file on your computer, a document, or a Google Doc, just for, and whiteboards too, just for brainstorming, just for the pre-writing process. The second thing you want to do is set aside time. Your lives are really busy, I know that, but you want to look at your schedule. If you have between now and the end of December to work on your essays, when would you possibly find time to do it? You're going to have to find out. This is the hardest part. In order to do a good job on your essays, you're going to have to set aside time every week. And that could be, an hour on a Sunday when you know you don't have sports or work or school. It could be in the evening. It could be in the morning. It could be if you have a study hall at school and you don't want to do your actual schoolwork and you want to use that time for something else. But I really urge you to find time every week to work on it until you get your copy ready to show your adult. Okay. So setting aside time. And then the third thing is figuring out who your people are. Do any of you know who your people are? Who are you going to ask to help you? Because you cannot do this alone. This is something you're going to want support on. Do you have people? Do you have a family member or a teacher or someone you work with? Or I know that LitNet is going to help pair you, hopefully, with tutors that will help you. Yeah, you're going to want to do that. Don't do it alone, especially this step. This is the step where you want to really make sure you get people to help you with so that when you're ready to turn it in, it's already good and you've done all the hard work. You can have multiple people, okay? Yeah, I can't stress that enough. So if you haven't asked someone to help you, that should be. You have the notebook now. You're thinking about where in your schedule you're going to actually do the work. You've got to ask the people. Has anyone here already found that person? Can I ask who you have?
I have 2 of my friends.
Okay, cool.
My English teacher.
Excellent.
My ex-BLO teacher.
Fantastic.
My counselor.
You're going to ask them all to read it.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But if you have one good person, yeah. Do you have someone? Do you know who you're going to ask? So that's what you have to think about. Yeah. Your counselor will do it for you. Okay, that's great. Do you have someone? Is it a school counselor or a teacher or a friend? Teacher? Great. Do you have someone? Yeah. And do you have someone? You're going to have him do it.
Yeah, sure.
Because he'll be in college by then. Yeah. Okay. It is really key. You never want to work alone with your writing. Probably you had some English teacher long ago that told you that, right? That you never want to turn anything in without having someone else, look it over, check it over, make sure that everything's perfect. Or at least perfect-ish. Okay. So those are kind of the steps that you need to take care of before you even sit down to write. Okay. So now we're a little stressed out because we realize we've got to do some writing. Where to begin when you aren't sure where to begin? We're going to make it better. Okay. This first step is called pre-writing. It can be scary. I've worked with so many students who are smart and they are really excited to go to college, but they think that they don't have anything to say. They're like, what could I possibly write about that any person who doesn't know me would think is good? They think that their lives are boring. They think that they're just like everybody else. But I have to tell you that isn't true. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that there was a way for everybody to find something to write about. And it kind of starts with 3 basic categories of things, which we're going to practice a little bit today. Things, people, and experiences. So I want everyone to, either in your notebook or on the whiteboard, we're going to start with things, okay? And the idea, is this your notebook? That's yours. Okay, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it here. Daisy, you can do it too. We're all going to do it together. Okay. You're going to grab one of these things, whiteboard or your notebook, and at the top you're going to write things. Just write things. Okay? Things. So examples of things. Books, soccer, beach, just anything that you think you know something about. What do you know? What do you love to do? Let's just make a list. So I'm gonna look at my watch. You're gonna have 1 minute. Write down as many things that you feel like you know a lot about. It could be frogs. It could be your cat. It could be Christmas. Okay? Go. Easy, you stopped writing. You have to keep writing a whole minute. You could write Lederman. If you have a job, put that on your list.
Jilly, that Shay was going to join too.
Okay, come on in. Hi. You can come sit right here. Okay, time's up. All right, I'm going to read you my list, and then maybe everybody can share some things on their list. I wrote my grandma, kids, writing, cooking, swimming, and books. Those are things I know a lot about. Okay, you want to share a couple on yours? Oh my God, you have such a long list.
The ocean.
Okay.
Soccer.
Great.
My background.
Okay.
Oh, sharks.
Yep.
The galaxies and the solar system.
Okay, great.
I don't know, some other
You have a lot of things on there. Psychology. Okay, that's great. What did you put on your list?
vacations, sports,
Video games. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, really, really good. Okay, what do you have on yours? Great. Okay, those are really good. What do you have on your list? Mhm. Excellent. Great. Daisy? Daisy, what do you have on your list? Even though you're not applying college.
Newly are virtual Lederman College of Psychology.
Excellent. What do you have?
Soccer, school, family, friends.
Great. Okay. Super. All right. So those are things. When we go to write our college essays, many of the essay questions have to do with these things. Or you're going to make it so that you're going to be able to pull from this list into your essay. Here's the next one. Oh, that's things. Things that are important to you. And I want everyone to look at your list. Is there some story that you could tell based on any of these things? Like, for example, I wrote my grandma, who's dead. She's dead. But I have a great story about her teaching me to cook something that, like, we love to eat in my family. So I know that I could tell that story. It's not everything about my grandma, but I know I have a story about my grandma. When I look about, like, for example, I wrote swimming on mine. I have a story about being really young and, like, swimming out so far and being really excited that I was a good swimmer, but forgetting that I had to swim back and getting kind of stuck in the middle of a lake. So, I mean, I'm just thinking of these. So, do you look at that list and do you see that you might have a story from something on that list?
Yeah, my background.
Okay, from your background. Yeah, for sure. Probably everybody has a story from their background. You might have a math story. You have a lot of math things on your list. That's all going to be in your essay. You're going to write about math. So that's good. It's coming from that category of things. Great. Okay. The next category is people. So here we're going to think about important people in our life. Someone that maybe helped you, maybe someone that helped change your way of thinking. We're going to take a minute and everybody make a list of people you can write on right on here. Here, Daisy, you and I get Post-it notes. Okay. Okay, ready? Go. People that you know well. Yes, it's okay for dead. Yeah, dead people make great stories for college essays. Yes. I know that sounded very strange, but it's true. If you have a good story about, like, your grandma or your someone, yeah. Okay. All right. So do you share your list? Who's on your list?
I have my parents, my sister, my best friend, and my grandma.
And I literally have the same thing. I have my parents, my sister, my best friend, my grandparents, but I also wrote my neighbor and my husband. Yeah. What do you have on your list? Friends and family. Daisy?
My mom, my dad, and my dad.
And some teachers. Okay. What do you have, Ms. Math?
Um,
I forgot your real name. What is your real name? Darylyn? Oh, that's such a pretty name. Okay. Oh, okay. And teachers too. Okay. Yes, because you're in theater, so you have extra people there that I know you very well. Yes. What do you?
Mom, dad, grandma,
And teachers.
I got siblings, my mom, dad, grandparents, friends, and teachers.
Coaches. If you play sport, I was thinking because you said theater director, if you have coaches, coaches are great people to write stories about because you're going to want to have someone who helped you or someone who changed, helped you become a better person. And that often, I mean, I would love it if it were your parents, but often it's people like from your extracurricular things, like someone that coached you or someone that was your director or mentored you in some way. So don't forget those people. They make great stories, make for great stories. Okay, next. Our experiences. Okay, so a lot of times when I work with students, they think that if they want to write about something that's happened in their life, it has to be something sad. Okay? So I don't want you to feel like you need to write about something that's traumatic. If you have something that is sad and you want to write about it because it changed your life in some way, you can, but you shouldn't feel like you have to write the saddest story that you can tell. Often the little stories that we tell are the ones that will have a really big impact as well. So you want to think about a time that changed you, a time that changed the way that you thought about yourself or thought about the world or allowed you to grow in some way. You want to tap into like a very strong memory that you have. It could be something from childhood. It could be something from last week. It could be, going to the grocery store, forgetting your wallet, right? And needing the person behind you to pay for, that happened to me before. I went to the grocery store, I want to buy a whole bunch of stuff, I didn't have my credit card, and the person behind me paid, and then we went out into the parking lot and we struck up a conversation because I needed to then give them some money, and we became friends after that. So, sometimes it's the little stories that you have that will turn into great ideas for your writing. So don't forget about those. Okay, we're not going to do we're not going to write those down. Okay, so all I'll say about pre-writing is you want to make sure that when you're doing this step, once you find something, you do your writing, don't show it to your person yet. You don't need to show your teacher or your guidance counselor or whoever is helping you in this process every single thing you write. In the very beginning, I think it's better for you to keep it to yourself and kind of just think about what it is you want to say. It can be private. It's only once you've actually put it into an essay form, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. What should the essay look like? Once you get it into some sort of draft or some sort of form, then that's when you can go to your guidance counselor. Your guidance counselor or your teacher isn't going to want to see something that's this, right? They don't want to see just like a list of things. They want to actually see that you've taken the time to try and, flesh out those ideas. All right. Oh, okay. Going back. The next part is kind of the overwhelming part. So I want us, before we do this, we're going to play a game. You want to play a game? Okay, stand up. This is a game that has nothing to do with the college application process. Okay, this game is called Heads or Tails. Do you know it? Okay, basically how it works is if you choose heads, you're going to go like this. And if you choose tails, you do this. You touch your tail. Okay? Are you ready? Okay, choose. Are you heads or tails? Okay, if your tails do this, if your heads do that, pick one. Okay. You cannot change. Don't change. It's heads. If you are tails, you have to sit down. Okay, great. Now we'll start again. Choose heads or tails. What are you choosing? Okay. Are you this or this?
What is that?
You got to choose this or this. Heads or tails. There's no middle. Okay, your heads? Okay. We're making Daisy play. It's heads. If your tails, sit down. Okay, down to 2. This is our brain break. Sometimes you just need to take a break. Okay. You're both going to do tails? Thank you. It's tails. Okay. So, yeah, so you won. Here's what you win. I don't know what this is. Someone gave it to me once, and it was just sitting at home. I don't know what it is, but I brought it for you. Okay, great. All right, so now we've kind of cleared our heads. Now I'm going to show you the list of all of the essay topics for the Common App. Have you seen them yet?
Yep.
You have. Okay, so good. You're not going to totally melt down when you see the list. Okay, we're going to go through each one, and I'm going to give you ideas for each one. But here you go. Ready? Here it is. Okay, so there's 7. There's really 6. And then the 7th one is you can write about anything you want. Okay? The first one says, share a story about your background, your identity, and interest or talent. The second one is asking you to tell a story about a time when you faced a challenge, a setback, or a failure. What did you learn from the experience? Number 3, reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. Maybe right now you're asking yourself, why did I come to this thing right now where she's talking about college essays? Okay. Number 4, how has gratitude, that means being thankful, affected or motivated you? Number 5, discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that helped you grow. Number 6, describe your passion. A lot of students want to write about that one because it's easy to write about what you love. Like, I don't even know you, but I already know you're going to write about math. No! You know all those math things. Oh, softball. Okay, yes. I actually, I don't know if I ever said softball. I was really focusing on all the math and science things you have. And number 7, which is write about something else, question mark, whatever that could be. But really, those first 6 cover all of the things that we brainstormed when we talked about our things, our people, and our experiences. So now we're going to break them down. If you were working with a LitNet tutor or another type of tutor, these are the kinds of things the tutor would help you do. So if after this presentation, you would like a copy of all of the things in it that you can use to help the adult that's helping you, let me know and we can get that to you. Okay, so here's topic number 1. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful that they think their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, share your story. So when I have students that want to write on this topic, what I have them think about are these questions. Often I will sit with a student that I'm trying to help, and I will tell them to put away their notebooks, and I will just ask them a whole bunch of questions, and I'll record it on my phone. Or I will have them talk to me, and I will just type every single thing that they're telling me. This is a way for me to answer these questions, because really, in order to write this essay, you're thinking about these things. Where did you grow up? What do you consider to be your true home? Have you had more than one home? What are your strongest memories? And what is special about you? This is the essay topic that most students use because really it's very, very broad, and a lot of students find talking about like their childhood or their families pretty easy. So this might be one that you want to choose. Okay, number 2. Number 2. The lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time, that means tell a time, when you faced a challenge, a setback, or a failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn? So here's where I would ask my student, have you ever done something that you wanted to quit? Most of us have something that we have been forced to do, either by our parents or by someone else, or maybe we've started to do something, and then at some point we're like, I don't know if I want to finish this. There may be a class that you're taking that's been really hard, or a job that you wanted to quit, but you can't. If you've had a friendship that you know is complicated, you can write about that. Or if you have had some sort of physical or emotional problem that you've been struggling with, you can write about that. Again, some students don't want to talk about something that's going to feel traumatic to them. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. But this is, if you write about number two is about something that's been stressful for you and how you were able to push through that moment. It could be applying to college. You could write an essay about how applying to college has been really stressful for you, but you've decided to do it because you want to commit yourself, to going to college. So, does anyone have an example of something that they have felt they didn't want to do and they stuck with it? Does anyone have an example to share?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Practicing soccer every day at the summer.
Yeah, in the summer? Yeah, because who wants to do that? It's summer.
Yeah.
I know, okay. So, but were you glad you did it?
No, I'm glad I did it.
You're glad you did it. Okay, so that's something that you could write about. You could write a great essay about
Yeah,
that.
we won Western Mass Festival.
Oh, Greylock!
Yeah, very
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I know that you did. Yes. Okay. So I think most of us have had some sort of like struggle or challenge. Yeah. For me, it was biology. I did not want to go to my biology. When I was in high school, I did not want to go to biology lab. I did not want to go to the lab. I had a really bad lab partner. That was it. It was just the lab partner. But yeah. Okay. So that's number two. Number two, again, it's about something that you didn't want to do that you did, and how you overcame that feeling. Okay. Essay number three. Ooh, this one is tricky. So this one is when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. So for this essay to be one that you want to write about, you will need to think about an experience when you pushed against someone else's idea. Okay? It could be something that you didn't agree with that a teacher said. It could be something with your friends or your family or your religion. But where again, it's similar to topic number two in that it's a challenge, but this is about an idea or a belief. I read an amazing college essay 2 weeks ago, not written by one of my students, but written by a student of a friend of mine who works as a professional consultant for college essay writing. She read me this essay, and it was about a girl whose parents told her that they did not want her to go to college, and they told her that she could do whatever she wanted, but that they weren't going to pay for it. They weren't going to help her. They didn't want to hear about it. They didn't want to be a part of it. And that if she was going to move away from home, they weren't going to have any contact with her. And she wrote her essay about what it was like to feel like she was losing her family, but she was doing something for herself. And it made me cry. I guess because I'm a parent, that made me very upset. But it also was such a good essay, because if an essay can make an English teacher cry, it's a good essay. So she was a first-generation college student writing this essay, and I don't know much more about it, but that's what she wrote about. So that was kind of a tricky one, but you might have a story that fits that. Here's number 4. Number 4 says reflect on something that someone. Okay, this is in our list of people. Something that someone has done for you that made you feel grateful or appreciative. This is where we're thinking about coaches and directors and family members and mentors, or a teacher that had a really big impact on you. Some other person. It could be a friend. If you have a friend that's helped you through an incredibly difficult time, you could write about her or him. So you want to think about the person, but you also want to think about how it changed you. How made you a better person? Number 5. Okay. This is a happy one. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and new understanding. So this is not just winning the like Western Massachusetts soccer, I don't know, how do I say it? What is it called? The Western Mass, right, whatever. If you want to write about that, you have to write about how winning or how the process of competing changed you, made you a better person, right? Made you find something in yourself that you didn't know you had, whether it's discipline or strength or like, I don't know, pushing through the exhaustion or like, you have to find the other piece of it. You can't just write about winning something. You have to talk about how you became a better person because of that success. Maybe it's a promotion in a job. Maybe it's getting a job that you really want. Maybe it's getting your driver's license, right? Because with that comes freedom and responsibility. So it could be something that you haven't really thought about. Something that like you think, well, everybody has a driver's license. But you realize getting a driver's license changes you, right? Having a car, if you have a car, you know, it's responsibility. It's like having a child, right? Breaks down as much as kids do. So I want you to think about little things in your life that you may not realize can have a big impact. I had a student that wrote an essay once about when she learned to take the school bus for the first time. Like she wrote about like being in first grade and how her mom, you know, she was now going to ride the school bus with like all the big kids and how that kind of changed her perspective on like all the other kids in her neighborhood. So you might think, well, why would college admissions people want to read a story about a 6-year-old? The way she wrote it was really fascinating, and she was able to kind of dive into the psychology of like a 6-year-old getting on the bus and how much that meant to her and how much that changed her and how she became independent. Because after that, she realized that she could, you know, make her own peanut butter sandwich, and she realized that she could talk to the bus driver, and she could make friends with the 4th graders on the bus. So it made her feel very empowered. An event or experience that changed your attitude. Think about an event or time when you personally grew. Think about an aha moment you're really proud of, or something that you worked really hard for. Okay. Number 6. This one. Describe a topic, idea, or concept. So this is going to be under our things list. That you find so engaging. Engaging means interesting, like you could do it all day long. It might be a video game. You can absolutely write an essay about a video game as long as you have enough to say about it. I would love to help someone write an essay about playing a video game. Okay, something that you love so much that you could just do it all day long. You lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? And what or whom do you turn to when you want to learn more? Do you have a gaming community? Do you have like people that you play with?
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't you learn from them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so some things that you think may not be good for college essays can be great for college essays. You just have to turn it into a story. You have to make sure that you're answering all the different parts. You can't just talk about how much you love this video game. It's so fun and you just do it all day long. You actually have to talk about what it is about it. Okay, is it the graphics? Is it the challenge? Is it the levels? Is it the complexity? Is it that it's always changing? Is it that you used to suck at it and now you're great and so you realize that you're maybe good at other things too? Gotta kind of scrape away at that. I wrote, think about if you could spend all your time doing one thing, what would it be? So we're going to do a really quick share on that. So I'm going to ask everybody really quick, if you could spend all day doing one thing, what would you be doing? What would you be doing? Not sitting here. What would it be? Play soccer, great. What would you be doing? Softball, what would you be doing? Volleyball. This is a sporty group. We're all going to write essays about sports. That's good. What are you doing?
Drawing.
You're drawing. You're such a great artist. Is that me?
No.
Is that you?
No.
You need more blood, more blood. Okay, what would you be doing?
Playing
your video game. What would you be doing? Singing. Yeah. What would you be doing, JC? Hiking. Okay. Great. So all of those things make for great essays. Okay? Great ideas for essays. The thing that you love. It could be sleeping. That probably isn't a great idea for an essay. I don't know what more we could say about that. But. And number 7, this is the one where they give you an opportunity to talk about whatever you want to talk about. This is the hardest one. I think that this is hard, right? Like what? Like the roof. I don't know if I could get 400 words out of the roof. And I'm a pretty good writer. I don't think that I could. Share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one that you've already written. So here's where, if you have written something in English class, like a creative piece that is about you, you might be able to take it and use it for your college essay. But it can't be an essay about like a book you read. It can't be an essay about politics. It needs to be about you. That's number 7. Okay. So someone asked the question, how do I organize my essay? So the personal statement really should be written in 3 parts. I usually recommend 3 paragraphs. Okay? You're used to that because that's what you do at school, right? You usually write 3 or 5 paragraphs when you write an essay for school. So usually 3. The first part of your essay should grab the reader's attention. It should be, and we're going to talk about how to do all of these things in a moment. Right, you're trying to hook the reader with a fishing pole, and then you're going to reel them in. In number 2, that's the middle where you're going to tell your story about why you love your video game, right? Or why you love softball or volleyball. Okay, what it is. And in the 3rd paragraph, you have to show why it matters. What is it about volleyball, right, that makes you want to do it all day long? Is it because it makes you feel strong? Is it because you love the sense of teamwork? Because you can't play volleyball by yourself, right? There's three rows of people. There's setters and spikers and people that do different things, right? So you have to work as a team. I think for a lot of sports, right, you're going to talk about that element of teamwork. You have to show how number 2 matters, okay? So 1 leads you in, 2 is telling the story, and 3 is the so what. The 3rd part for most students is the hardest part. The 2nd part is usually the easy part, okay? And the first part, it just all depends. But usually I find that students know what the story is they want to tell, and that's the middle. They often need help with the beginning and the end. But I would argue that the end is probably the most important part. So if you have a guidance counselor, you have an English teacher, you have a tutor through LitNet, okay, or someone that is really good at writing, they're going to help you especially work on number 3. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the lead. This is the part where you're going to take your fishing pole and you're going to cast it out, whoop, and you're going to try to grab the reader's attention. So here are the 2 strategies that I recommend. 1 is to start your essay with a question. And here's an example from someone's college essay. Okay, this is an example. Someone started their essay by saying, does every life matter? Because it seems like certain lives matter more than others, especially when it comes to money. Okay, that definitely makes me want to read more. Someone's going to be writing an essay about people who have money having more power, maybe. I don't know what that essay is going to be about, but asking the question definitely makes me want to read more. Here's another thing you can do, which I call setting the scene. This is where you are painting a picture or taking a photo of something. Imagine, like in theater, it's that opening shot, right? Where like the curtain opens and you see what's on stage at the beginning. Okay? You might like this strategy since that's like a familiar thing, right? The beginning of the show is always one of the most impactful parts. Or like after the intermission, the beginning of the second act. Example, horns blare as the tiny auto rickshaws and bicycle-powered school buses interweave at impossibly close range in the narrow streets of Old Delhi. So this was a student who's Indian, from India, and she was writing about her home city. And here you can see she's got what it sounds like, what it looks like, different sensory details. Here's another example of setting the scene. It was absolutely pitch black outside when we had to silently leave our homes and climbed into the back of a truck, beginning our journey to freedom. So that was written by someone who was a refugee and had to cross a border. And that's the story that they wanted to tell. If you have a story that you think you want to tell like that, you might try starting your essay with setting the scene, describing what it was like on your journey. Okay? Those examples for setting the scene are incredibly powerful to a reader. Because we can picture, we can see it in our eyes. It makes us want to know more. It makes us want to understand what your experience is. Okay? Here's some other ways to start your essay. You can start with what is called an anecdote. An anecdote is like a little mini story, like a little preview of your story. Okay? So here's one from a student. From the age of 7, when I was struggling with simple math problems, but I was acing my spelling tests and already writing simple stories, I knew I was meant to become a writer. So what do you think this person is going to write about in their essay? They're going to be like, talk about writing. Writing is their passion, right? Maybe they want to be a journalist. Maybe they want to be a children's book author. I don't know. But you already kind of know where the story is going. Here's another one. I like this one too because I have no idea what comes next. You can just come out and say, with a bold statement, growing up, my world was basketball. So what would you expect to come after that? This kid is going to be like, when I was 7, I knew every single player, and I begged my mom to get me the jersey from this team, and I wanted my hair cut so that I would look like this basketball player, and I wanted to go to every game. Right, okay. You would expect more details to follow. The one thing, okay, everybody, you swear. Please swear. You're not going to write about being a bad writer. That is the one thing you cannot write about in your college essay. Do not write about how you have to write a college essay and you suck. Don't do that. You know why, right? That's the one thing you don't want to. Don't write an essay. I really hate writing, but I have to write this essay because I'm applying to college and everyone tells me the college essay is really important, but I know I suck and I hate it. And my mom is standing here and she's going to take away my phone unless I write a paragraph tonight before I go to bed. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. You can bet I've had students, not for college, but I'm an English teacher. I've had students turn in things like that. And sometimes they're very well written, but I'm like, you didn't do the assignment, so you don't get a very good grade on that. Okay. Don't write. All right. So now let's talk about the middle. This is where you're going to tell your story. And what I like to say is we want to keep our middle from getting muddy. Middle of the essay is where you want to dive deep. And you want to focus on showing rather than telling. And when I say showing rather than telling, I am talking, again, if you're in theater, you get this. You want to paint the picture. You don't want to give a list of things. First I did this, then I did this, then I did this, then I did this. You want to tell me what you were feeling when you were experiencing all those different steps. You want to tell me what it looks like. I want to be able to hear what it sounds like. I want to smell. I want to smell it. I want to taste it. I want to touch it. If you can use some of those 5 senses in your writing, you will really move away from telling and into the showing. And you want to use vivid and descriptive language. When your English teachers talk to you about using descriptive language, what do they usually mean?
Senses.
What'd you say?
Like sentences.
Yeah, you want to make sure your sentences are not all the same. Like you don't want to start every sentence with I. I did this, I did that, I did this, then I did this. You want to mix it up. You want to have some sentences that are long, and you want to have some sentences that are short. Okay? And you don't want to use the same word every time. For example, if you're writing about soccer, you cannot have every sentence have soccer in it. Sometimes you're going to have to say the game, or you're going to have to say the sport, or the competition, or something else. Can't repeat it over and over and over again. Okay? So paying attention to using vivid means bright, and descriptive language is going to help the middle of your essay not be muddy. Muddy middle. Okay, and here's the hard part, your conclusion. In your conclusion, you've got to find a way to tell the reader why this is important, what you learned. How would you approach the situation differently? If you had to do it over again, what would you do? How does this influence you? How did it change the way you thought about yourself or the world? How have you grown as a result? This is really the most important part of your essay because it's just impossible. There's nothing in your test scores or in your report card, right? That actually shows how you've grown. This is your chance to say this is who I am, and I am this way because I played 4 years of volleyball, or because I play a crap ton of video games, right? It makes me a critical thinker. I am creative, right? For anything that you love to do, we can find 10 reasons why that makes you a better person. You have to believe in that process. There is value in all of the things that all of you love to do, including doodling.
Oh, yeah.
In class, there's value in that. So I can already tell you're someone, you're very good at doing multiple things at one time, right? Like you're totally hearing me. I know that. So that is a strength. So all of the things that you love to do, whatever your hobby or your passion is, there's value in it. And that's what you're going to write your essay about. You have to believe that there's value in it. There must be if you're spending a lot of time doing it. So I really urge you to choose those things that you know a lot about and to tell the story that only you can tell. Okay. Here we get into the editing and revising. We're getting towards the end. I really can't emphasize enough that you want to make sure that your essay doesn't sound like an English paper. Oh, now you're like, what? You're an English teacher. I'm an English teacher, so I'm telling you, it should be well written, but it should not sound formal. It should not sound like you're giving a talk, a very formal talk to all of the ladies and gentlemen of the world. It should sound like you. What I recommend you do is write your essay and then record yourself on your phone or on someone's phone so that you can hear it. It should have your personality in it. It shouldn't be just this. You shouldn't have the essay that he could write. It should sound like you. Your friends should be able to listen to it or read it and be like, oh, she wrote it. I always tell my students, I was just talking to my students about this yesterday. We're going to do an assignment where they don't put their names on their paper, and I will try to guess who they are based on how their writing sounds when I read them. So that's what I want you to think about, is writing the story that only sounds like you. It should have personality. It doesn't have to sound like the A+, like paper that your English teacher wants it to. You want to also, in the third one, be careful. Answer the prompt. Don't spend 90% of your essay on the details and not talk about how this thing changed you, how volleyball made you a better person. What do you learn from volleyball? Okay? That's paragraph 3. Don't forget paragraph 3. You want to read your essay aloud. I wrote record yourself on your phone or someone else's phone and listen to it. And then you want to show your essay to as many good writers as you can. I know it's painful. Most students do not like having adults look at their work, but you don't have to have an adult look at it. Have your friend look at it. Ask her, does it sound like me? Right? Ask your cousin, does this sound like how I feel about video games or cooking or soccer or whatever it is that you're writing about? And I know that Lee and like her LitNet team, they will have people that you can show your essays to. And they may not know you really well, but they will be able to help you make those essays sound unique and also and special. They should sound like a student wrote them, not like ChatGPT. Oh yeah, right. Because you know how those sound? Those sound crazy good. They're formal, those. Like, I can tell. I can totally, it's very easy for me to catch my students because my students all have certain way of writing. And so when I've had people use AI to do their assignments, I know immediately because it sounds like it sounds like a computer wrote it. Right? It's too perfect. It's too formal. Okay. Here's something to just keep you motivated. It's called Prove, that I use with my students. Prove, P-R-O-V-E, prompt. Check the prompt. The prompt is what is the topic, right, that's on the Common App. Make sure you've answered it. That's what you should be asking your reader. Did I answer the question? Did I actually answer the question? Readers, you want at least 2 other good readers to read your essay. Original. Is this a story? Only you can tell. Does it sound like you? Voice. Does it sound like you speaking more than a formal paper? And evaluate. You want to make sure that your grammar, your spelling, and your punctuation are correct. And it's okay to have someone help you with that. I don't know what yeah, okay. I'm looking at you, Jason, because you have good eye contact, but I know you're not applying to. You're not the one applying. Okay. Here's a little checklist. I've checked my grammar, my spelling, my punctuation. I've answered the question. I've made sure that I'm not repeating. I love soccer. I love soccer. I love soccer. Soccer's great. Soccer's great. Soccer's great. Unless you're Miguel, and then you won't be repeating yourself. You love soccer. You love soccer. You love soccer. My sentences are different lengths, and I had someone else look at it. I printed out for you these last 2 slides so that you can take that with you as a little helper. There you are. There you are. Okay. And I'll just say it again, like I did at the beginning. A lot of students think that they don't have any good stories to tell and that their lives aren't interesting, but I want to tell you again, your story is worth saying. Whatever your story is, your story matters, and people want to hear what you have to say. You have to find your voice through your writing, and LitNet has lots of supports for you. Your schools have supports for you. You're laughing. He keeps, every time you say LitNet, he's like, yeah. I'm like, LitNet. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're all here. I mean, we would not be here today if we didn't want you to be able to have success in the writing part of it. And for a lot of students, the writing is the hardest piece. So, we know that you can do it. It's not an easy thing, but it's worth it. And that's it. That's the last slide. Okay. So what questions do you have? Can I make a request for a drawing?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so erase that. Okay.
Oh, so cool.
So cool.
All right.
Okay, can you do a peacock?
What's a peacock? Oh, I know, yeah.
I don't know, I gotta pull one up on my phone.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
do you know? It's like a really cool bird with like different colors. Okay, while you're doing that, because I know you can do more than one thing at a time, what questions do you have for me?
Essays can apply to like scholarships, like
Yes, everything, yeah, all of the things that I've shared with you today can work for, if you're applying for the Taconic Scholarship, and actually, Amy, who was doing the presentation from Taconic, she told me, she said, all of the things that you're doing for Common App, for essay writing also apply. She said she reads thousands and thousands of essays, and she said it really does matter if your essay can be well organized, and if your passion can come through, and if it can sound like you. So I would say everything that I spoke about today will work for any of the writing that you do in the college application process, whether it's for a college or to get money, to get scholarships. It's a great point.
Amy also said from Berkshire Taconic that you can use this essay for Berkshire Taconic.
Oh, yeah.
That it was
Oh, you
okay.
can use any of these.
So if you wrote this essay, you can use it
So
for
if you use
both
any of these essay topics, you can use it for Berkshire Taconic. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So that's a little copy and paste. We like that. Less work. What other questions do you have? Are you drawing a turkey?
I mean, I haven't drawn any book in my life, but I'm trying.
Okay. That looks like a turkey.
Has anybody started their essay?
Yeah. Has anyone here?
Yeah.
You've been working on your essays yet?
Wait, you as an English teacher, you know what I like senior speech?
Yeah, I know senior speech.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'm taking some fragments of my senior speech.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Turn them in the.
What's your essay?
Yeah.
What's your senior speech about?
My background, what happened to my mom and what changed.
Yeah, that's a great thing to write about. Yeah. If you need help, let me know.
Actually?
Sure.
Wait, can I get your email?
Sure.
Alright.
And remembering when you write a personal essay too, you don't have to tell them every detail about your family. Prepare a book.
But I think that it would be grateful for the university.
Yes, you can, but you don't have to tell every
Like
personal
every year,
detail,
yeah.
You know, you can
Yeah,
keep privacy too.
So I'll give you my name. It's Jilly. My email is Jilly. Okay? And if you need to find me, I'm at Pine Cobble. I live in Pittsfield, but whatever. Ooh, that's what Google Docs are for.
Huh?
That's what Google Docs are for, right? Because you can put it in a Google Doc, and you can share it with me,
I will.
and I can help you. That's good. Yeah. Has anyone else started writing? Yeah, you have. What are you writing about?
For a scholarship.
For a scholarship. Okay, great. So you save that, and you'll be able to use it for your application as well. Yeah, a lot of those things. Has anyone else started writing? Yeah, what are you writing about? Things, okay, things, unmentionable things at the table. That's okay. Have you started writing anything yet? Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Can I pick the topic that I want, or should I get the specific topic?
So, I mean, you should be, you're a sophomore. You've got some time to think about it. I think you're just thinking about it right now. You're not going to start writing because you don't need to do it yet.
And it could change. Who knows?
And also, they change the topics every year. So the ones that I went over are this year's. These are this year's choices. They're similar from year to year. They don't change that much. But I think you can be thinking about what you wanna say, and certainly kind of thinking about it. But I wouldn't write it. It's 2 years away, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, any other questions? It was fast and energetic. It's Jilly. Woohoo!